Hey everyone, this is Don from Tech Advisor here again at CES 2020. Right now I'm at the Withings booth where I've got the Withings Scanwatch set up. This is the latest hybrid watch from Withings that takes some of the features from the Move ECG, pairs it with a lot of the design of the Steel HR, throws in sleep apnea tracking, and feels like the most fully featured premium watch Withings have put together to date, and the first thing that might really tempt you away from the Apple Watch and into Withings. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing. As you can see, it's back to the sort of like metal-bodied, nice sort of premium aesthetic that last year's Move and Move ECG didn't have, but they were more sort of plasticky, rubberized, sporty finish. This feels more high-end and premium. We've also got a screen back, so that's a little like OLED panel sitting at the top that gives you time and date there, the ECG function, we'll talk about heart rate tracking, your workout options, calories, steps, and back to date and time. It also has notifications, really simple. It's obviously a small dial, but I can't show on this because I don't have notifications set up. It's not tied to a phone. But, you know, you'll get a little WhatsApp icon and a brief bit of what's there, or Instagram, something like that. Otherwise, as you can see, standard analog watch face, and then that's the step tracker that also doubles as some other functionality. Okay, so health-wise, this is a Withings thing, so obviously health is a big part of it. Just like last year's Move ECG, we have an ECG tracker. So if I go into that, I can basically start doing that, and with a bit of luck, there we go. I'll give a live read of my heart rate now. This is basically a heart health thing. So it's not just about your heart rate, it's about giving you sort of a read of the quality of your heartbeat, whether there's irregularities, things like that. You get this live feed, obviously, but it also comes through on the app. You'll get a data readout, you can get a PDF out and give it to your doctor, stuff like that. There's also sort of live heart rate tracking, and it can also detect arterial fibrillation, or like AFib, which is basically like irregularities as they come up on your heart in real time. So little things that you wouldn't feel it necessarily, but the watch will detect it. It'll give you a little alert to say, hey, you've had a little heart irregularity, which will A, give you a notification that you should probably go to see your doctor and tell them that's happened. B, encourage you to do an ECG scan right there, so you get that ECG read at the time you were having the irregularity to give your doctor even more information that they can work with. The other thing we've got new is sleep apnea stuff. So this is basically Withings sleep tracking stuff. It's been improved now. It's got an Spo2 sensor on the back of the watch. So that's basically checking oxygen levels in your blood. Sleep apnea basically means you kind of stop breathing for a second, so your oxygen levels will go down. It will detect that. It will give you a read on like what your Spo2 levels are throughout the night, and it will tell you if you have suffered like high levels of sleep apnea. Everyone has it a bit, but there's sort of worrying levels. And again, gives you a sign that you should go to the doctor, you should get it checked out, you can get other readings, get all that stuff done. All of this is like hopefully going to be medical grade. They're still going through the certification. They went through that with the Move ECG last year, and they managed to get that certified in both the US and Europe, so this is probably going to go the same way. Hopefully it'll be a quicker certification. The Move ECG took about 9 months, so it didn't come out till September, even though they launched at CES. Withings are optimistic that second time around they know how to do the process better, so we should see this in Q2. Price-wise, it's jumping up a notch. So the Move ECG was $129 pounds euros. This is $249 for this 38mm model. There's also a larger 42mm model, which changes the design a little bit. This is very rounded and smooth, and I guess from a certain read you might say feminine. The 42mm watch is a little bit more sharp edges, it's kind of chunkier, obviously going for a more masculine vibe, so that'll suit your preference. I actually still prefer the 38mm version myself. But the 38mm is going to be $249, and the 42mm is going to be $299. Again, that's dollars, pounds, euros, all the same price, hopefully around Q2. And yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a lot for what it is, but I think it makes sense. This is the best health tracking on a wearable you're basically going to get. The most fully featured in terms of heart health and the sleep tracking. And that makes it feel a lot more like an Apple rival, together with that notification stuff coming through, all the workout tracking. It's waterproof up to 50 meters. Apple doesn't even do sleep tracking in the Apple Watch because it doesn't have the battery life. Whereas this, because it will last a month, which will vary, and if you're doing the nighttime tracking every night, you won't get a full month. But mostly, it'll last a month. That means it can do nighttime tracking. It is worth noting the Move and the Move ECG did like 18 months, 12 months on watch batteries. This is not that. This is 1 month because there's a lot more going on and it's got the display, but it's rechargeable, so you're not actually replacing the battery. Yeah, so I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of the Withings hybrid watches. For me, personally, I hate smartwatches. I don't want all that stuff going on my wrist all the time. I love these hybrids. I love the way they look. This looks really cool. It looks just as nice as a classic analog watch, but you're getting so much more functionality in it. I love all the health stuff. I'm not personally too worried about my heart health, but it's nice that it's there, and for other people that will be a really big deal. So I think if that's something you're concerned about, and if you want to get that ECG but you don't want to fork out for an Apple Watch, this suddenly looks like the watch to get, and I'm really keen to get it in later in the year and give it a proper test.